Good morning, guys. So it is Friday, January 24th, I think, and I'm going to do a vlog today, and it's going to be a day of my life preparing for exams. So I have an exam coming up on Monday and a practical coming up on Tuesday, so there's a lot going on. It's currently 7 o'clock. I got to the gym a little late today because I got home late last night from a high yield review that some of the second year med students put on. So we are going to hopefully get this workout done and then go to school for my mandatory meetings, and I will see you there. So I failed at vlogging yesterday, and not because I didn't have a lot to do, because I did. I just completely forgot to pick up the camera, or pick up my phone to take a video. So those 3 clips that you saw were all that I got, so we are gonna try again today. This is what I eat in the morning before I go to the gym, just so that I don't feel too full. It's a little egg bite. It's just egg, salt and pepper, and a little bit of paprika in a mini muffin tin. I would also recommend adding almond milk to them, just a little bit, because it helps keep the texture, like it helps keep the thing inflated a little bit so it doesn't collapse on itself. And I also usually add broccoli, but I didn't have any. It is, let's see what time it is. 7:30 in the morning. It's absolutely pouring rain outside. I'm gonna show you guys when I get home. I got a hair mask from Target because my hair was starting to get really dry and brittle from just being winter and in the anatomy lab all the time. The air in there is so dry. So I thought I would try a hair mask, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well it worked. So I'll show you that when I get home. This is the one that I used. I don't know anything about hair masks at all, to be honest. So I don't know if this is actually a good one, but basically I just put it all over my hair, let it sit for 15 minutes, and then rinsed it out in the shower, and it really did work. But if you have like particularly greasy or oily hair, I definitely do, but in the winter it's not as greasy. If you have oily hair, I wouldn't recommend this on your roots. I would just do it on your ends. So I just wanted to show you, this is a list that I made of all the bolded terms from our anatomy lab. So it goes all the way, all the labs that are going to be on this next practical. Basically what happens is we are given a dissection guide from our school, and they have bolded terms, and those are the terms that we can be tested on. So I make a huge list of all of them, and I think this thing's like 7 pages long, so hopefully we can get through all of these today. are here. We're gonna brave the rain and go inside, and I'm probably gonna get like, let's see, I'll probably get between 3 and 4 hours of studying done in here before my friend helps me up in lab, because we have our practical on Tuesday right after our test on Monday. So I need a lot of help for the practical, and one of my friends is a really good teacher, so we're gonna go ahead and learn everything, or learn as much as we possibly can today, come in tomorrow to solidify everything, and hopefully be done. So it is the end of the day now. I got home, I had a little bit of dinner. I was at Panera until noon, and then I went to school, studied for a little bit, did about 2.5 hours in the anatomy lab, and now I smell really gross, so we're gonna go ahead and get clean and get ready for bed, because I think I am done with my hardcore studying for the night. I thought it would be fun to do a little bit of an update kind of thing. I talked a lot in my goals videos and in my burning out video that I wanted to change my study techniques in order to maximize efficiency and have more time to do fun things. And so now that I'm reaching exam time, I think I want to share with you what I've changed, and if I feel like it has helped at all, or if what I was doing before was better. Oh no. I hope that wasn't sliding the whole time. But yeah, it's very much a work in progress. I feel like I changed my study techniques for every exam, and they're still constantly evolving, not only between subjects, but between the types of material that I'm learning. For me personally, I don't think I'm the best person to take anatomy advice from. There's probably way better people on YouTube to ask. Anatomy is not my favorite subject, nor is it my best subject. Needless to say, I am very excited to start systems-based topics, but I'm going to share with you what I'm doing as a person who isn't very good at anatomy, because I think it's important to have both perspectives, and I want people to think I'm important. So to give a little bit of background, my anatomy course is basically broken up into 4 different topics. So the first is what you think of when you think of anatomy, just the anatomy. We also have histology, so we have histology lecture, which is learning about the information, and then we have histology reading slides and things, so we look at normal tissues and structures and have to be able to identify them without any other context clues. The third section would be development, so we learn a lot about the development of a human being. Makes sense. And then the last section is normal radiology, so x-rays, CTs, MRIs of what a normal person looks like. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do that I can only really film my screen, because I don't know how to screen record on my laptop, is talk about note cards. Don't come for me, I don't know how to use Anki in the way that it's supposed to be used to maximize efficiency and use spaced repetition to help you prepare for boards and stuff. I haven't really been able to keep up with the information that I'm learning currently, let alone review a ton of old information. So I will do 25 COMLEX questions every day on weeks that I do not have exams coming up. So for example, this week I have not been doing it because I have exams, and taking that hour to do 25 COMLEX questions and then review it is just not practical at the moment, especially since I'm learning anatomy. I would practice the COMLEX questions for the topic, but you can't break down anatomy boards questions into different sections, and so a lot of the time I will get questions on things that we haven't learned, and sometimes that's good, but for the most part I just will stop doing that the week before an exam. However, something new that I've been doing, rather than creating, let's see if I have an example of what I was doing before. I created a bunch of summaries for the first exam and didn't really make any note cards, Like you can see, I only have exam 2 and exam 3 here. I didn't make any note cards for exam 1, and that was just a mistake. It was somebody else made note cards, but I like to make my own. So what I will do is for all the anatomy courses, like the pure anatomy, I will, instead of writing on the PowerPoint, I will just create an Anki deck based on the PowerPoint that they've posted the weekend before or like a couple days before. And then while I'm sitting in lecture, I'll add new cards if they add new information. So that's what I do for anatomy. For histology, I will make a summary, and I will also make a hopefully small note card deck with some pictures, but this isn't really the bulk of my histology studying. That comes mostly from Histotime, because Histotime has a ton of images that you can use. And basically the trick with histology is being able to look at as many different examples of something as possible. So I will mostly use Histotime, but these note cards are for some example pictures that they've given us and also the lecture material. So for histo, I do everything. I take notes onto the PowerPoint, I make an Anki deck, I practice with Histotime, and I create a summary for any information that I need to reference, because histology, it's just really difficult for me, and so I need the most practice on it. You can see that I made one development lecture deck here. That's not because we've only had one, it's because I made it and then abandoned it because I like to make summaries for development still. I find that the note cards are really difficult to make because development is kind of like a linear process, and it's hard to make note cards for that. I don't know if that makes sense. And then the last thing I have is radiology. So these are just normal radiology images that they provide us, and they tag a bunch of structures. And so I will use image occlusion to just block the names of those structures. And also image occlusion is what I use for a lot of the anatomy decks as well. Hello, okay, we are on my iPad now. So I wanted to show you just a little bit more detail of how things are different now. So like I said before, I made a ton of summary slides for the first exam, and that didn't really work out as well for me. This is deceiving because it seems like I have more, or at least the same amount. I do have exactly the same amount. However, this exam had far fewer lectures on it, and this one, I think we have like 32 lectures total at this point. We have a lot, so there aren't as many summary slides per total number of lectures. But so you can see here that there's not a ton of anatomy summary slides, and that's because I've found that the best way to do anatomy is just to get as many flashcards into your brain as you possibly can. And I also switched from typing most of my notes at this point to writing a lot of them out. And that's because, especially for development, I find that writing things out and drawing how things move is really important for me to remember it. So that's something new that I've been doing there. And it seems to be working really well for me so far. I feel like I save time not doing as many summaries, but I also retain the information a lot better when I draw things. That's kind of been my thing for all of my academic career. I love drawings, and so drawing helps me remember things. So yeah, that's like a little update on what my studying looks like. So that's basically what I am doing for the didactic course. I think it's actually working pretty well. I'm doing better than the original, and I feel a lot better than when I was preparing for my first test, but I feel like I haven't really improved that much for the practical. It's only our second one out of 3, so I don't have that much longer to improve. I feel like I don't really spend enough time in there, but I don't really like to spend a ton of time in there. I think I would feel a little bit better about it if I did end up going up more and really preparing, but basically what I'm doing for that is going up with a bunch of different people, looking at all of the different examples of the anatomy that we need to know. I make a big list of all the bolded terms that I showed you guys this morning, I think, and I will go through everything that I need to know before the practical, and when I get to the practical, it's very fast-paced. So my bottom line is, if I have no idea what I'm looking at all, I always try to look at where it goes and where it came from, because a lot of things in anatomy are named for either where they go or where they came from. So you can usually create a pretty good guess based on where you see things going. Yeah, that's like my only tip for anatomy lab. I'm finding it extremely challenging, but hopefully I improve a little bit this time, and maybe that means that my study methods are actually working. That's gonna be it for today's vlog. If you guys are enjoying the vlogs, please give this video a thumbs up. Shout out to my family members who found my YouTube channel. Yeah, I think that's everything, so I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.